right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Ooh, how's it going? Been a lot of good games on tonight. Watching some college basketball, got some NBA, got football tomorrow night. I'm Chris Gonzo Gonzalez, joined by the sports judge, Jonathan Mathis. How's it going, Judge?
What's up? What's up? What's up, man? It's great to be back. We got plenty to talk about tonight in the world of sports. And when is there not plenty to talk about in the world of sports? There's always something going on. There's always some current events out there. There's always something new in the sports world. So, Chris, I'm delighted to be here tonight with you, my friend. You're my tag team partner. You've been my tag team partner for a while now. And let's do what we do.
Oh, yeah. First of all, United States moves on in the World Cup. That was a big win for U.S. men's national team yesterday. Only thing that sucks about it is Pulisic getting hurt. Hopefully, he's able to go Saturday against the Netherlands because I think it's going to be a bad thing for the United States if we don't have Pulisic. I think we need Pulisic to have a good chance of beating the Netherlands. Netherlands are pretty good from what I understand. I'm not a real big soccer fan, but I have been watching some of this World Cup. And just from listening to the guys that know soccer, it sounds like the Netherlands are a pretty good team and going to be a pretty good test for the United States team.
Yeah, I'm more of a casual fan when it comes to soccer. But, I do understand I'm not going to pretend that I understand the game of soccer because I don't really understand the intricacies of the game. I mean, I sit there and watch the World Cup as if I know what's going on. I'm sitting there most of the time confused, trying to figure out the rules and everything. But I don't think it's a stupid sport. You know how you have those people that say it's a dumb sport or it's stupid because they don't understand the concept of the game? So they say this sport is stupid, this sport is dumb. Yeah. It's not stupid, it's not dumb. It just doesn't catch your interest. That's all. That's all you have to really say. But you know what? I'm proud of Team USA. I'm proud that they're moving on to the next round because, Chris, we all know that soccer is a growing sport here in the U.S. And now these players are finally starting to catch up to other countries. Soccer has not been our primary sport. It never has. I don't think it ever will be. Even if we do somehow write this feel-good story, it won't never be a number one sport here in America, but it is growing throughout the country. But I hope for the best for Team USA. And yes, they're gonna need their star back. They're gonna need him back and healthy. They're gonna need him ready to go because he's a huge part of that. He's a huge part to that team, and he's a big part to their success. So they're gonna need him. If they want to make a run at this. And yes, the Dutch squad is no joke. They are very, very good at this game. Yeah, and it's gonna be a tough task.
Yeah, like I said, I don't watch a lot of soccer. I'll be honest. I understand most of it. There's just some of the things of it. Like yesterday when I was watching, yesterday when I was me and Dad was watching that game, and I'm like, it said +9, so I'm like, that means they're going to play 99 minutes, right? Well, then they end up going like a minute past that. And I'm like, when's this game go to end? The United States is up 1-0. Come on, time should be out. So the timing situation kind of gets me, how they add extra time on at the end, and the referee kind of gets to pick how much extra time you play is a little weird. But hey, soccer's a growing sport here in the United States, and I don't think it'll ever be number one. But I'll tell you what, if NFL keeps changing rules and keeps pushing fans away where it's getting softer and softer, soccer will have a chance because I think more parents are encouraging their kids to play soccer now than what you used to be, just because of football can be dangerous. And not saying you can't get injured playing soccer, but you don't see the head injuries in soccer like you do in maybe in football. So I think you're starting to see a lot of these younger generation. They're encouraging their kids to play soccer more than what you used to get in the United States. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it'll ever take over American football. If it does, it's going to be years down the road. Just because, like I said, I think the younger generation is starting to lean toward pushing their kids to play soccer. And when I grew up, I never played soccer. Some of my, now don't get me wrong, some of my cousins played soccer, but I played baseball, I wrestled, and played football up until high school. I didn't play football in high school because I weighed 90, 92, 94 pounds as a freshman. Hell, they don't want a 94-pound kid on the on the football team. Like all I was going to do is stand on the sideline, not get to play. So I didn't play. I actually ran cross country in high school instead of football just to get in better shape for wrestling. But I think you're going to see more. I do think you're seeing more parents pushing their kids towards soccer. But some big news that just came out not too long ago. The NCAA has reached an agreement with the Rose Bowl. So now they'll be able to expand the playoffs starting in 2024 to 12 teams in college football. So just got another year of this 4-team system, and then in 2024 it'll be changing to a 12-team playoff. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it gives more schools an opportunity to contend. So now you can see some of these small, some of the small schools are maybe better wording. See some of the little guys get a chance to compete on the big stage. Now more schools will have a chance to be in the spotlight. And now maybe you will see some more Cinderella teams and some more upsets. Things will get more competitive in college football. This brings more parity to the game of college football. I like the 12-team playoff format. I think it's great for the game of football. Now you won't have too many teams complaining about, oh, well, we should have been in the top 4, or, we should have been able to contend for a national title. Now it will seem more like fair game, right? It levels the playing field. That's what it does. It levels the playing field, and now more schools are able to join in on the fun and hopefully qualify for a playoff spot if they play well enough to get into the playoffs. I like this move. I think it's great for the game of football. It's great to expand on the playoffs. 12 teams, better than 4, maybe 8, but 12 is not a bad idea at all.
I know a lot of people thought 12 was too many, that 8 should be the limit. I don't have a problem with the 12 because there's going to be some buys given. That, like, the top 4 teams will probably get buys, and then the other teams will play each other, and then you move out into into the bracket. So it's not. I know people say, "Oh, you're going with 12 teams, you're going to get a lot of blowouts." Well, guess what? You still get blowouts with 4 teams. I mean, even with 4 teams, a lot of times that 1 versus 4, a lot of times is a blowout. No, don't get me wrong. Sometimes we've seen 4 beat 1 before. It don't happen very often. I know a lot of people do think 12 is too many. I would have been fine with. I would have been fine with 8, but 12 is not, to me. 12 is not a big deal either. I think because of the way they're going to format it. If you had 12 and you were playing like 1 versus 12, yeah, then I'd be like, well, that's crazy. But the top 4 will get buys in that first round, so I think that'll help. But I'm glad they are expanding it past 4. I think personally, I would like to go with 8 first, seeing how 8 worked out, and then if you thought you need to add more then, because you are going to get some blowouts. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, is because I think TCU. I think there's a good chance TCU is going to get blown out this year. I know they're undefeated, and they beat some ranked teams. Yeah, you can. They deserve to be there, but I don't think they're going to be able to compete against Michigan or Georgia. If right now they're in the third spot, so they play Michigan. I don't think their defense is going to be able to stop Michigan's run game. And then if they get in that fourth spot, Georgia's going to just, to me, is going to stomp them. It's just a different level, and I think that's why people don't like the 12 team idea, because even in the 4, you can get a team in there where they can't compete with them top conferences. But it does. I mean, it maybe in a way it might help some of these other teams maybe to recruiting wise, because now you can say, hey, we can have a chance to get into the playoffs. But I think 8 would have been a better starting point. But like I said, I'm not going to kill them over the 12. But I mean, we have a few comments here. Drunk says 12 too many at that point. It's March Madness. And I agree with him. What he's saying here, he goes, I just think with college football, you're not going to get that Cinderella story like basketball. And I kind of agree, because it's a lot harder to pull out I think it's harder to pull out an upset in football than it is in basketball, just because there's so many. You got 22 players, you know what I mean, on that team, on each team. That where in basketball, if you have a couple guys get hot, you can take over a game. And you can't really do that in football as much. Damian says he thinks college football should have went up to 10, that he thinks 12 is way too much. Drunk says TCU definitely getting blown out. I think TCU is struggling in the playoffs. They might surprise people, but I don't think so. Either way, Bama will be in it. Watch. I don't know. I don't think Bama will be in it this year, but I
don't think so. In the future, yes, but not this year. No.
I think if USC or TCU loses, Ohio State will get in with one loss, because they're at number 5 with one loss. I think they'll get in if either USC or TCU loses. And USC plays Utah, which beat them earlier this year. That's their one loss.
Right.
They lost to Utah by, I think, by 1 point.
Right. And they can avenge their loss against Utah with a win in the Pac-12 championship game, which I think they will. Pull it out.
Well, what I'm saying, though, there's more than just that Pac-12 championship on the line, because if you lose that game, you probably lose your college football playoff spot as well.
You will. Oh, yeah, definitely. USC will be out of the playoff spot. No.
And the same thing with TCU. TCU plays Kansas State, which they did beat earlier in the year, but if they lose that game, they're going to be out.
Right. So under this new system, the playoff field will compose of the top 6 conference championships among the 10 active conferences. So see, it gives more teams from other conferences a chance to contend, a chance to finally get their piece of the pie. You know, because some of these schools have been screaming for years that they don't get the recognition that they feel they deserve, that they don't get a fair shot, you know, to be on football's biggest stage. And now this gives them a chance. And then 6 wildcard teams are guaranteed a spot for a group of 5, of a 5 team, if I'm reading that correctly. Interesting. So, yeah. And then the top 4 conference champions will get buys into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Top 4 get buys into the quarterfinals.
Right. While the remaining 8 teams will play first round games at homes at their home stadiums.
You'll have 5 playing 12, 6 playing 11.
Right.
7 playing 10, 8 playing 9.
What it also does too, Chris, it's all about money, right? The NCAA is a big money-making business. College football is a business at the end of the day. Ultimately, it's a business. So the more teams you have, the more money that college athletics will make. So it's a main
mainly about
course look.
yeah. I just wish they'd went to 8 first and seen how that worked out, and then went to 12.
Right. Let's see how it works out, though. It could be very exciting to watch.
Drunk says USC versus Georgia is a championship game that he wants. Caleb Williams versus Georgia defense for all the marbles.
Oh,
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I wouldn't mind seeing that either.
I'll be honest.
I'm a USC fan, so I would love to see that.
I'll be honest with you. I want to see Michigan there just because I'm a Big Ten fan. I'm not a Michigan fan at all. You can tell by the shirt I wear. Not a Michigan fan, but I am a Big Ten fan. So since they might be the only team in the playoffs representing the Big Ten, I'd like to see Michigan make it to a championship game. Plus, I like Jim Harbaugh. It'd be nice to see Jim Harbaugh get a national championship.
Well, he certainly can do it.
Let's go.
Yes, he certainly can.
I use up my team
that he has because he has a really, really good team. And
watching this IU and North Carolina game, got a little excited. I used up my 10 with 42 seconds left. IU basketball is finally starting to make a comeback.
You're very animated right now.
Oh, dude, I love watching IU basketball. I like watching college basketball. They play. I'll be honest with you. I watch more college basketball than I do NBA, just because
NBA. Well,
college basketball, they play hard every night. In NBA, they play so many games that in the regular season, half the time there ain't no defense played.
Yeah,
and then with IU,
like NBA basketball.
Like I said, IU's always been my favorite team. I was a big Bob Knight fan when growing up. Of course, I live here in Indiana, but we got Mark Woodson as coach now. It was his first year last year, and we started looking better again. And then this year, like I said, we're ranked 10th in the country. And not only are we scoring some points, our defense has looked good so far this season. And this was our first big test. We played Xavier, beat them, but this was our first big test since then. And like I said, we're up by 10 with 33 seconds left. So
I remember back in the day when Indiana was good under.
Indiana used to be one of the best teams in the country.
I remember when they were a premier team in the nation.
Oh yeah,
one of the best teams in the country. I remember when Bob Knight.
Yep.
Well, I was a little young when Bob Knight threw the chair across the.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
I believe that was in the early 80s, like 87 or something, like the late 80s, maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere around then. I was a little baby when he threw the chair across the floor and went on that outburst where he just completely lost it. But he had a hot temper. But Bob Knight was one of the most legendary coaches there was.
I'm glad he'll finally come back to the IU campus. Of course, he left ugly with all the stuff that happened, and he wouldn't even come to the campus for years.
Reed, his former player,
he wouldn't even come to the campus for years, dude. He wouldn't even come on campus for years. And now he will. And I saw an interview with Trace Jackson Davis earlier, and they asked him, said, "Hey, I saw Mark Woodson took you over to meet Bob Knight yesterday. What did Bob Knight tell you?" And he said, Bob Knight told me, he said, you don't come to Indiana just to play. You come to Indiana to win. And I started laughing like, damn, he's getting old, but it's still the same Bob Knight.
He's still the same. Yeah, he still has the same personality, just older. But, he was one of the most polarizing coaches in college basketball, but he was also one of the best coaches in all of college basketball. There's no denying that.
And USC isn't in the Big Ten yet.
Not yet.
They're getting ready to be
soon.
He says Indiana ranked 10th. That's like, they're ranked 10th. They just beat the 18th team in the country by 12. And North Carolina was number 1 last week in the country, and then they lost a couple games over the weekend. So I mean, and not only is Indiana ranked 10th, even though I'm not a fan of them, Purdue, which is another school from Indiana, they're ranked 5th. So Big Ten conference is pretty strong in basketball. Big Ten conference is usually one of the top stronger conferences in basketball. I remember Eric Gordon on Indiana. Yeah, when I was growing up, my favorite player, 2 favorite players on Indiana was Calbert Chaney and Damon Bailey. Which Damon Bailey never made it in the NBA, but Calbert Chaney played in the NBA for a while. But Damon Bailey was one of them short, slow white guys. I was like, if he could play basketball, maybe I can. Which it never worked out. I wasn't good enough. I was a wrestler, but I was always a Damon Bailey fan.
I know you clearly remember when Steve Alford used to play at Indiana.
Yep. Steve Alford's actually from the Newcastle, Indiana, which is about a 15, 20-minute drive from where I live at.
Yeah,
there's actually a hotel. There's a hotel there in Newcastle, Indiana, named after Steve Alford.
I remember when he coached at UCLA. I mean, it didn't end well, but he did what he could. He
coached at Iowa.
Yeah, he did recruit some of the best players, but it just didn't work out. The thing with him was that he couldn't get out of the first weekend of the tournament. That was always the thing with him. That was always one of his biggest flaws, is that he couldn't coach the team deep into the tournament.
Yeah, there was a time that a few years ago he almost got the Indiana job, and then they ended up going with Archie Miller instead, which I didn't understand, but okay.
And Archie Miller didn't work out.
No, now we got
at first the hire looked good, but then it was like,
I'd rather had Alford, but I like the coach we have now. I like Woodson, and he played for Bob Knight, and he's been doing a hell of a job recruiting. We got a good freshman class this year that's making an impact, and then Trace Jackson Davis coming back for another year really helped us as well. Which that's Dell Davis that played for the Indiana Pacers. That's his son.
Okay. The hope is that, with the coach that they have now and the players that they have, that this is one way to restore the culture at Indiana. Because this program for a long time was in the state of mediocrity, and now hopefully things are starting to trend upward for a university that is known for its college athletics and basketball particularly. That's good for Indiana University. That's great. That's wonderful. The Hoosiers are finally back, it seems.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. We'll see. It's still early in the season,
but it's looking like Hoosier basketball again in Indiana.
Damien, how do y'all think Duke will do without Coach K? I think they will do pretty good. This coach that they got, he's been there at Duke. He was an assistant with Coach K, and they've been playing pretty good. They're ranked 17th. They beat Ohio State tonight. Ohio State was 5-1 going in that game. Duke's 6-2. They lost over the weekend in a tournament as well. But I think Duke is still going to be a perennial program. Even with Coach K being gone.
Yeah, I feel the same way. John Shire will do a great job at Duke University. He learned from one of the best. I'm pretty sure that Coach K, before he left, groomed him for what is a tough assignment to be the head coach of a basketball team at a prominent university. But I think Duke will be fine. You're not going to get another Coach K. Those days are over. Coach K has moved on. He decided to retire from the game, from coaching basketball, and now Duke has to embark on a new era with the guy that they have coaching now, and I think Duke will be just fine. I think they will.
I will say this:
bring some of the best talent to that university.
I will say tonight was their first win this season against a ranked opponent. They're 1-2 against ranked teams so far this season.
Yeah. Still early. Still got a lot of time to turn it around and get
it. Coach K passed John Wooden as the NCAA GOAT? That's a good question.
Oh, yeah, that is a good question. That's
I would say
I'll let you take that first, Chris.
To me, it's real close. If you just go by NCAA, I would say probably John Wooden. I would still say NCAA, but if you go by basketball period, I would go with Coach K because of what he's done with the U.S. Olympic team and what he's done with USA basketball. So I would say Coach K. If you add that in there, he's probably the GOAT. But if you just go NCAA, I think I still lean toward Wooden a little bit.
I don't know. I like Coach K. I like the bridge that he built for so many of his kids to cross. And it has been a successful ride for Coach K during his entire tenure at Duke University, where he has enjoyed years of success at the program. And you know, a lot of his kids, they looked up to him as a father figure. He was a mentor to a lot of those kids. So he impacted so many lives, and he built a lot of those kids into men. So I would have to go with Coach K, and we saw the farewell tour a year ago, and that you know kind of said a lot about the person that Coach K is, his character, his leadership, his ability to, you know, interact with young men and help shaping their futures. It's incredible to me. So my guy is Coach K as well.
All right. OBJ. OBJ has a visit with the Buffalo Bills on Friday. I think he also has a visit scheduled with the Cowboys as well. Where do you think OBJ is going to end up at?
I think he wants to go somewhere where he could contend, and both of these teams are in prime contention. The Cowboys, I'm leaning towards the Cowboys simply because Jerry Jones usually doesn't miss out on a top free agent wide receiver. Very seldom does he miss out on his opportunity to land someone as good as OBJ. So I expect the Cowboys to make quite a splash for him. Now Buffalo, they could very well be in conversation for OBJ as well. And who wouldn't want OBJ on your team? You saw him have a resurgent year a season ago with the Rams, you know. And my friend here, Amir, says, I think he becomes a Cowboy. Buffalo's too cold. Weather will definitely play. Weather could definitely play a role in where he decides to go. But Buffalo, they have great receivers over there. Stephon Diggs, you got Gabriel Davis, but the Cowboys, they have CeeDee Lamb. And just imagine if you did add OBJ to that Cowboys offense with the way those rookie tight ends have played this season, that would really, really open things up. That would create more spacing. You know, Dak Prescott will have another target, another go-to guy. This will give CeeDee Lamb more targets because now you would have to give more attention to OBJ now that he would be part of the offense. So I mean, the Cowboys, man, they'll be able to do more damage and really, really create more spacing and create more opportunities for other players to benefit.
Yeah, no, I mean, he could end up either one. I'm kind of leaning toward. I'm on the opposite side. I'm kind of leaning toward Buffalo, for a couple of reasons. One reason, Von Miller, him and Von Miller are real close. Von Miller has been campaigning to give him to Buffalo all season, and I think if you go to Buffalo, you got a better quarterback. I think Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. So I think you got a better quarterback. You still don't have to be, and you still got a lot. You got some weapons there in Buffalo with Diggs and Davis. So I mean, if you add OBJ to what they have, that makes the offense even more dangerous. But what's going to be interesting to see out of all of it, no matter where he goes, whether he goes to Dallas or Buffalo, is what's he have left? I mean, you're talking about a guy coming off a second surgery on the same knee. I mean, how effective is he going to be able to be? So I think it's best for him to go to a team where he can be that maybe like third option. Because at this point in his career, I don't think he's going to have enough left to be a number one option on a team. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But weather could play a fact, because like I was talking with Jay McLovin earlier on the afternoon show, is when you have a hurt knee or hurt injuries, and as you get older, the cold weather, you hurt. You feel a lot better in warm weather. I know with my muscle pain and my nerve pain and stuff I have going on, when it's cold outside, dude, if I hurt, I go outside. So I think warm weather could play a factor in maybe him going to Dallas. But I still think for some reason it's still in my gut he's going to end up in Buffalo. I've been saying that all season. No, I agree. CD Lamb and Michael Gallup and OBJ is not a bad lineup either. I agree with that. I just think with the connection with Von Miller, he won a Super Bowl ring with Von Miller at the Rams. I'm leaning there, but I think either place would be a good fit for him.
And at this point in his career, I don't think he really cares about the number of targets he get. I think he has matured. I think he has grown up a lot. I think he just wants another crack at a Super Bowl. And the Cowboys have done well this year. They have played at such a high level all season long that they are a championship contending team. If they clean up some things, like they don't turn over the ball, and if they avoid the careless mistakes and play more disciplined football, they might be the most complete team in the NFL. So I think Odell Beckham wants to be in a place like that. He knows that he's not going to be Dak Prescott's go-to guy. He knows that because CeeDee Lamb has passed OBJ. OBJ is there to be another option. And I don't think he cares at this point to be the number one option on any.
No, I don't either. No, I agree with you. I don't either. I don't think I don't think he's worried about being number one. Damon said, "What if he goes back to Cleveland and plays with Watson now that he's returning?"
No one has mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Steelers are not in conversation. But I think the Steelers could use a veteran receiver.
I know the Giants were in conversation. I think that would be interesting to see him go back to New York and finish his career where he started.
Yeah,
I think that would be interesting. I don't think it's going to happen necessarily.
Yeah,
but I think that'd be interesting to see that.
Well, it was feasible, but now it doesn't seem as realistic as it did a week ago or a week before Thanksgiving, when everyone was talking about that he could potentially reunite with his old team where it all started. Now it's looking more and more like it's going to be either the Cowboys or the Bills. I think it has been narrowed down to those two teams specifically. And now it just seems like his former team is out of the conversation now. However, they could use an offensive spark and add a receiver to their offense as well, because what that does for the Giants, it allows them to be not only more creative, but it brings more life to that offense, and now Brian DeBall would have another weapon that he can work with that offense, and that would take some of the load off of Saquon Barkley. And then now Daniel Jones, if he's gonna lead this team to the promised land, then he's gonna need a deep threat and someone that he could throw the ball to and OBJ would be that guy if he had decided to go back to the Giants where his career started.
Yeah, no, I agree. Damien says OBJ, Hill, and Waddle don't sound bad at all.
OBJ, and then there was there was this rumor mill that he could have ended up in Miami, but that was before the season started.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's probably going to be Buffalo. Well, like I said, I'm leaning toward Buffalo, but
Yeah, because
I think both places are good fits.
and Buffalo makes sense too because Buffalo missed out on the Christian McCaffrey sweepstakes. So to make up for that, they might make a big splash to uh acquire OBJ. They could go fishing for him, and probably this time they'll be lucky to uh get that big fish.
We got Deshaun Watson making his return this weekend to the NFL after serving his suspension for all his issues he's had. Uh, One, how do you think he's going to look after not playing for almost 2 years? And two, what do you think the reception is going to be there in Houston as he makes his return back to Houston, because that's where the Browns play this weekend, is against his old team, the Texans.
Well, look, man.
I know some of his accusers are going to be in attendance. I guess they're going to be in a suite, which don't make a whole lot of sense. If you're going to protest, but being up in a suite to me is not a protest. But it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out on Sunday. And I'm interested to see what he looks like after not playing for a couple years.
How it all unfolds, right? I don't think it's gonna be a warm reception for him. I don't think he's gonna be greatly received by the fans. Remember, this is a guy who used to play for Texas, duh. And usually when a player requests a trade because he is disgruntled or he is not pleased with the current situation, and when the trade does suddenly happen, and when he does return to the city playing in a different uniform, usually it's hostile. Usually you hear the boos. You are showered with boos. That's what I think we're going to hear from the fans when he storms out of the tunnel for the game on Sunday. I think he's going to be greeted with boos. He's going to be jeered at. He's going to be heckled by the fans. That's what I think. And as far as how he will look, well, no one really knows. No one really knows because this is a guy who's been sitting out due to a suspension. So he hasn't really played. So we haven't seen much. So we don't really have much on him. We can only go based on film from the past or what he's done in the past. And we all know that he's a talented football player. He just got into legal troubles, and he will be looked at differently because of these sexual harassment allegations that will follow him for the rest of his career. So there's going to be people who talk down on him, who will not approve of him being an NFL quarterback because he is guilty on all accounts by public opinion.
Yeah. I think there's going to be I don't know. I think he will get booed by some of the by Texans fans, basically because of the way he left. I Like you said, we'll see how he plays. I'm I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence here. To me, it's just hard to sit out 2 years in the NFL and come back.
Right.
But I mean, he has been practicing for the last couple of weeks, so we'll see what he looks like. I want to see how big a deal they make out some of his accusers being there, and if the TV tries to push that narrative by keep showing them on camera up there in the suite and stuff. To me, if I'm the NFL, I'd be telling the TV, "Hey, don't even put the camera up there because, I mean, it's football. You know what I mean? Let's focus on the product on the field. Let that stuff work itself out." Uh,
Right.
but you know how the society we live in these days, so you know they're going to be all over the TV. Uh,
Yep.
but we'll see what he looks like. I mean, the Browns would basically they'd have to go on a run to even almost went out to have a chance to make the playoffs. I do think he is coming back against probably the best team he can come back against, just because the Texans aren't a very sound team right now. They have questions at quarterback. They have questions at a lot of places, really. So I mean, they're not a good team at all. So I think that is a good team for for Deshaun Watson to make his return back. But it's going to be interesting to see what he looks like and what level of play he can play at after missing this time.
And what does this mean for Jacoby Brissett and the Cleveland Browns as an organization moving forward? I think that's a big question as well.
Yeah,
but we
I think
all those questions until further notice.
I think Brissett's going to go back to the backup, and then we'll see if he stays as a backup for next year, or if he gets any offers from another team.
Because he's
I don't know.
He's no slouch at all.
Yeah, he's not a slouch, but I don't know if he's.
You don't know if he's a perennial starter.
Yeah, I mean he could. I think he could be like a bridge guy. I don't think he'll be I'm not sure he's a franchise quarterback. You know what I mean?
He's a dependable backup.
Yeah, he's a great backup, and I think he's like a gap starter. He can be a bridge guy till you find a guy, or like if you draft a young guy, he could be a guy to start while you're getting him ready. I just don't think he's a perennial starter. He's shown flashes, but what Jacoby Brissett has that what keeps him in the league and what's going to keep him in the league for a long time is he's a great leader. He's a great leader. He's well liked by all of his teammates. He was that way in Indianapolis, and from all accounts, you hear he's the same way in Cleveland. So I think that's what's going to keep him in the league for a long time. Even if he don't get a starting job, he'll be a backup in the league for a long time, as long as he wants to be, because of his leadership qualities, and he's a team guy.
Right, and he could be that voice on the sideline as well. So yeah, hey, if your teammates love you, and if you show that you can be a leader, you will be around the league for a very long time. And I have heard that about Jacoby Brissett, his leadership qualities, and how his teammates rally around him because of the person that he is and because of how he conducts himself as a player. And that's great. And you want that guy around on your team. So we've seen him command the offense in Cleveland. He's done a decent job holding it down there. Now Deshaun Watson is back, and we'll see what he will do.
Damien says he don't think Watson should be playing at all. I mean, hey, everybody has their opinion on it. I don't have a problem with them playing.
The suspension wasn't harsh enough.
I don't have a problem with him playing. He went through all the processes and served his punishment and done everything he's been asked to do. I'm just not. I'm not one of the guys that are part of the cancel thing, where if somebody makes. To me, if you serve your punishment, you should have opportunity. And I feel that way about. I mean, people like. I think that's one thing about our society that sucks. You have guys that get put in prison or in jail for different reasons. And don't get me wrong, now murderers and stuff like that. But you know what I'm talking about. Guys that make a mistake. They get released back out, and then because they have that felony on their record. Well, we want them back in the society and be a productive person, but we don't want to give them that opportunity to be. So that's why I don't have a problem with it. He's served his suspension. He's done everything that the NFL told him he had to do, and as long as he abides by the rules, I don't see a problem with them playing. But but I mean, everybody's entitled. Hey, that's a great thing about this country. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. He said Brissett is definitely a good starting QB. He had proven himself ever since he was in Indiana. He started out with the Colts decent, and then after that, he struggled. And we've seen what he's done in Cleveland this year. I'm not saying that he's not a good player, because I do think he's a good player. I just don't know if he's a starter, a top starter in the league.
Right. And I'm in agreement with you. I agree with you. I don't know if he can be a starter for a full season.
Well, the Pacers are getting their ass whooped by the Sacramento Kings. We're down by 20. Lakers are up by 10 with 7 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yes, they are.
Damn it, man. My picks are looking good, too. I've only missed, I've missed one NBA game so far, one college game, but I'm about ready to miss another NBA game. So I'm going to be like 9-3 on my picks today, which is pretty good. But damn Pacers. I took the Pacers to beat the Kings. Pacers have been playing good ball. Tyrese Halliburton, dude, been balling. Over his last 3 games, has 40 assists and no turnovers. That's never been done in the NBA. And he's had like 7 double-doubles in a row. He's actually playing himself into early MVP conversation. It's way too early to be talking about MVP. I couldn't believe that when I saw that earlier. I'm like, it's way too early to be talking about MVP. But yeah, he has been playing some great basketball. But right now, dude, I think Luka Doncic is kind of showing that he might be the best player in the game. With the way he's looking there in Dallas right now.
Yeah, if you're a Pacer fan, you got to be ecstatic with Tyrese Halliburton's play right now. He is leading the NBA in assists. He is making everyone around him better. He's playing with a lot of poise right now. And this is a young man who definitely has a unique skill set. And he has just taken his game to the next level. It's fun to watch. The Pacers, they really got a bright future. With the young players that they have in that nucleus there, they got a good coach too in Rick Carlisle. So, I mean, they're on their way right now. But this guy, man, he has great awareness on the floor. He continues to grow. And I wonder if the Kings have some regrets now trading him, because had you been a little bit more patient, this is what you would have now on your team. But yeah, he's in beast mode for sure.
Damon said, you all think Mike Brown should be in Coach of the Year talks, the way he's changed the Kings, making them look like a winnable team?
There's a possibility that he will be.
Like I said, they're kicking the Pacers' ass tonight, but I like Brown. I've always thought Mike Brown's a good coach. We had him in Indiana for a while. I thought he'd done a decent job. I like the Kings. I ain't gonna lie, I do like that we got Hill, but I miss Sabonis. I was a big Sabonis fan. I didn't like when Indiana got rid of Sabonis. I know our team's looking good, so it's worked out. But I don't know. I like the way Sabonis played. Miles Turner's been playing his ass off this year, so I can't bitch too much. But
Sabonis is one of the most reliable interior scorers in the league.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, was there anything else you wanted to talk about tonight, Judge, that we didn't hit?
Go Lakers. Hopefully, we'll see. Let's see if they hold on. Sometimes the Lakers get kind of complacent, particularly in the fourth quarter.
Hey, they were up by 17 with 10 minutes left on the Pacers the other night.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point. Sometimes they can't.
I ain't gonna lie. I was about ready. I was like, man, I'm going to bed. So I laid down, but I left the TV on, and I could hear it, but I wasn't even looking at it. I could hear it, and I was like, and I heard Quinn Buckner say, Pacers are running down by 8 or something. So I said, I better roll over. I better roll over and watch this. And I'm glad I did because I got to see that. Got to see old Nimhard hit that buzzer beater. And I didn't think he was going to get it off in time. I thought Halliburton held on to the ball too long before he passed it to him. And man, he got it off in time, and it was nothing but net.
I knew he was going to make it because when it left his hands, it looked good. It looked good as it was soaring through the air. And sure enough, swoosh, ball game.
Yeah, I agree. Halliburton's playing his ass off right now. Like I said, in 3 games, he had 40 assists. He's averaging like 13 assists a game and a little over 20 points a game. And if you get that kind of play from your point guard, especially when he's not turning the ball over, I mean, it opens up everything for everybody else.
Yeah, he's facilitating the offense is what he's doing. He's facilitating the offense, and he's showing true qualities of what a floor general is.
And that's the thing about the Pacers too, is that the Pacers they have like 6 guys almost every night. There's like 6 guys in double figures. So they have a lot. We have quite a bit of shooting on the team. We got that rookie Matherin can shoot the ball. He can. You got that Nimhard can shoot. Hild can shoot. Halliburton can shoot. Miles Turner, for a big guy, he can shoot. So you know what I mean. So you can't really just key on one guy anymore with this Pacers lineup because they share the ball and you have so many different options that can score.
Right.
40 assists and 0 turnovers is insane. When I heard that, like, man. Yeah. Hey,
that's
what's
insane.
up? What's up, Mike Hughes?
What's up, Mike?
But yeah, Halliburton. I hope Pacers can keep a hold of him. That's my only worry. Is will they pay him? And I hope they do because we need to keep him.
They better pay that man because that could be somebody you could build around. As good as he's looked early on in the season.
Thoughts on Booker getting 50 points now? Is he MVP contender?
Do that in the playoffs. Do that in the playoffs, and then we'll talk. 4 points like that in the playoffs, and then we'll have a conversation about that. Until then, I don't want to hear it because, yes, we know what Devin Booker can do in the regular season. He could put up points in the regular season, and then when the playoffs come, he folds under pressure. So, no, I don't want to hear that right now. It's too early in the season. Yes, I know the MVP is a regular season award. Yes, he can very well be mentioned as an MVP candidate. Will he win it? Not necessarily, because there's other players that will probably win the award before he does.
Yeah, right now, I mean, I would say he has to be in the conversation, but I say right now, to me, Luka Doncic is probably the front runner.
Oh, Luka is phenomenal right now, man. Every night he's on a highlight reel.
Yeah, he's playing it. Mike says, of course he does it against the Bulls.
That dude's ahead of his time too, man. Luka.
What happened to the guy who tried to fight Jimmy Butler?
Luka's in a league of his own.
Oh yeah. Luka's looked tough. I was watching some of it last night.
What happened to that guy who tried to fight Jimmy Butler? I don't know. What happened?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to. Yeah, Tatum has to be up there in the MVP conversation as well. I agree. Tatum's been balling. He's and I'd agree with that. Tatum or Luka MVP right now. I think them two are probably the top front runners right now.
Tatum can score in bunches, because he can be a streaky shooter. So he can get his buckets. He definitely can get his buckets, and yes, he should be in MVP conversations as well.
All right. TJ Warren. TJ Warren is with the Nets now. He got traded from Indiana during the offseason. He's with the Nets. I know he was still coming back from an injury. I don't think he's back yet, or if he is back, he just got back. But yeah, TJ Warren's with the Brooklyn Nets.
I was about to say he was nice before he suffered that injury.
Yep. Yeah, he got hurt and didn't play for like a year and a half for the Pacers, and they ended up trading him in the offseason to the Nets.
And him and Jimmy Butler used to go at it all the time.
Yep. Yeah, he was playing real good. He's a scorer, but he got hurt and he could just never come back from that injury. I'm not sure exactly what was wrong. I did see where the Chicago Bulls think that Lonzo Ball will be back here pretty soon, so that'll help them. Poor Adonis Haslam, he got cooked by Tatum tonight. Have y'all seen T.O. having a fight at CVS? No, I hadn't seen that. Have you seen that?
It must be a video out there somewhere. Yeah. I gotta look for it.
Yeah, I'll have to look for it now. I hadn't seen it. I'll be honest, I've been busy today. I haven't really got to look at much on internet or social media or anything. I think this is my fourth or fifth show. Plus, I had to go to the license branch and some other stuff in between shows today, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to do much anything else.
Did he tell the person, "That's my team, that's my quarterback"?
I hope the Ball brothers can stay on the court. Yeah, injuries have really been slowing them down.
Yes, it has for the Ball brothers.
All right, Judge, you got anything else, man?
No, I think that's it, man. We had a great show tonight, as always. Great stuff, and I want to thank all our viewers out there for jumping on tonight. Thank you guys.
Yes. We appreciate everybody in the chat room. It's a video on Twitter of him fighting with someone. I'll have to, Damien, I'll check that out after the show.
Definitely gonna go on Twitter and check that out.
While you're on Twitter, like Gonzo Sports Room.
Yes, and also like the Sports Judge.
But one thing before we do get out of here, we are going to have a special show tomorrow night. Usually don't do shows on Thursdays, but we're going to do a Thursday night show tomorrow because there won't be a show on Friday night because I'll be out of town at a live stream at a pro wrestling show. So we're going to do a Thursday night show, still be at 11 normal time, 11 p.m. Eastern. So come join us tomorrow night for that. And then Friday night, if you're a pro wrestling fan, 8 o'clock, I'll be live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. The show we're going to be at Cincinnati, Ohio. They're going to have Dan the Beast Severn is on the card. There's some other guys, Zachary Wentz. There's some other guys been in WWE and in Impact, and should be an awesome show. So join me Friday night for that, and also be at a live pro wrestling show on Sunday as well. Sunday afternoon at 3, and then Sunday night we'll be live doing a live watch along for the Cowboys and Colts game. So a busy weekend. I'll be, have stuff going on every day but Saturday. So please like, follow, subscribe, hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room, at the Sports Judge, and at the All Sports All Plays Network. Like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. We appreciate all the support. Like the judge said, we appreciate everybody that watched tonight, everybody in the comments. We enjoyed the interaction. Hope everybody has a good night, and we will see you guys tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern for another episode of Gonzo and the Judge. Hope everybody stay warm, because I know it's colder than shit here. So if you live where it's cold, stay warm. It's in the 20s here tonight. Everybody be safe. See you tomorrow.